right now as we speak, cleaning the latrines. Can we hear it for that? Trust me, I've done it once or twice. They deserve the applause. I basically have two messages for you this evening. The first one is very, very brief, and you just heard it sung better than I could ever say it. It goes like this: Happy birthday. I am so glad to be able to say happy birthday to us. But my second message is a bit more complicated, because the fact is, I stand before you tonight a conflicted man. I got an issue. I got a little tiny piece of drama, and I need you to help me work it out. You see, you guys have seen Dirty Jobs, right? The program? You're familiar with it, okay. I'm not looking for cheap applause. I just don't want to incorrectly assume too much, but you saw up on the screen there, I've been to some bad places. I'm kind of the ambassador of dirt, and I'm proud of that. Dirty Jobs is a TV show that celebrates regular men and regular folks, doing the kinds of jobs that make the country work. And I'm really pleased and proud to be their friend and to be their emissary. But the other thing is, I'm a Boy Scout, I'm an Eagle Scout, and thank you, John. Steady. Gotta go easy with it. Here's the conflict. I took the same oath that you did. On my honor, I'll do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law. Now see, here's where it gets a little weird. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, love it. Friendly, courteous, kind, hey, I'm all about that. Cheerful, thrifty, brave, reverent. Which one did I miss? Clean, right, clean. See, you see the problem. I'm the ambassador of dirt on a television show that's on the air right now in 180 different countries. And yet, I'm a guy who promised on his honor to be clean. How am I supposed to reconcile this with 100,000 of my closest friends? So, I have a plan.
100,000 of my closest.
I'm going to ask you for some help in a couple of minutes. But I'll tell you right now, I am here this evening in defense of dirt. I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by that, and I'm going to start with a story that I really never ever tell anybody. I tell lots of stories. This is the kind of show that has stories. I've had almost 300 dirty jobs, and every one is a story. But this one I don't tell to just anybody. And it starts when I'm 11 years old. And when I was 11 years old, I was not the guy you saw on the TV show. I was very different. I was very shy. I didn't like to be around people, and that's the truth. People made me nervous, and when I got nervous as a kid, I stuttered. I stammered. So I kept to myself. I'll tell you something else. I was kind of big for my age, but I was kind of uncoordinated, so I didn't play a lot of sports. And here's the crazy thing. I swear it's true. You can ask my mother if you see her later. She's here somewhere tonight. Mom, where are you, by the way? Would you all say hi to my mom? Her name's Peggy. She's right down there. And that's my dad, John. I want to count to 3. Please say hi, Peg. Hi, John. 1, 2, 3.
Hi, Peg. Hi, John.
Thank you very much. I don't think they've ever heard anybody yell at them before like that. It's good for them.
That's good for them.
My father, when I was 11 years old, was horrified by the way his son was turning out. You can imagine. He wanted to do something. Get me out of my shell. So he sent me to Troop 16 in Baltimore, Maryland. Delaying distance. Back in those days, rock on, Delaney. You got it. Back in those days, Troop 16 met in the basement of Kenwood United Presbyterian Church. Now, this was a church I was familiar with. My grandfather helped build it. So I'd seen it many times, but I had no idea what went on in the basement of this building every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. So my dad took me to my first troop meeting, and when I say took me, I mean he kidnapped me. He basically put a bag over my head and threw me in the back of the station wagon, the one with the fake lumber on the side, and he drove me to the meeting, all right? And then he barely slowed down, he kind of rolled me out the door. And there I am, going to my first troop meeting, and I don't know what to expect, and I walk into this basement, and what I saw to this day is seared into my retina. It was like I walked into some kind of a riot. I don't know what's going on over at Troop 16 today, but back in the day, back in 1974, they were playing a game called Swing the Thing. Does anybody know Swing the Thing? My God, this is a game invented by an idiot. The way it works, you get a tent bag and you fill it full of wet rags, and then you tie a piece of rope to it about 12 feet long, and then you form a circle, and somebody gets in the middle and starts to swing this bag around the floor real fast, and everybody in the circle jumps over it. And if you don't jump over it, it hits your ankles and boom, down you go like a cheap card table. That's how you play Swing the Thing. Last one standing wins. It's insane, but that's what they were playing. Maurice LeBrun was the SPO, senior patrol leader, walks up to me and says, "Come on, kid, get in the circle." I get in the circle, 30 seconds later, that tent bag full of wet rags hit my ankles, down I go, on my face, bloody nose, just like that. I've been in the Boy Scouts 2 minutes and I'm bleeding already.
Sounds like our troop.
Now, as I might have mentioned, I'm not a big fan of bleeding, not a big fan of the sporting activities. It's not going well for me, so I sit out and watch the rest of the game go on, and after that game's over, it's time for a new game. We go outside to the field behind the church for a little game of something called British Bulldog. Anybody playing British Bulldog?
What is it?
British Bulldog is a game invented by an idiot. And here's how it works, for those of you that don't know. The picture's a football field, only smaller, and somebody's in the middle and everybody else is in the end zone. And at the agreed upon signal, they all run to the other side of the field, and the poor idiot in the middle has to capture somebody, hang on to them, lift them off the ground for 3 seconds or long enough to yell, "You're correct." I don't want to play this game because they play in the mud, and as I just mentioned, I don't want to get dirty. But Maurice LeBrun, the SPO, pulls me back in and says, "Come on, kid, you're in." Within 30 seconds, I'm face down in the mud. James McCleary has me by my ankles. Steve Levinati has me around the head. They're trying to lift me up. Elbows are flying. Knees are everywhere. Bang! I take one right in the teeth. Now I got a fat lip. I'm bleeding out of my nose. I got a fat lip. I haven't been to the Boy Scouts for 15 minutes and things are not going well. It gets worse. We walk inside for the troop meeting, and my scoutmaster, a wonderful guy named Don Myers, who was a cop at the time, a detective, says, we have a guest with us this evening who wants to become a scout. Why don't you come up here, Mike, and introduce yourself?" Oh, crap, man, I don't want to talk in front of these people. I'm bleeding and I'm nervous, and Mr. Myers made me speak for 5 minutes about who I am and what makes me tick, and I stood up there stammering my way through whoever it is I thought I was at 11 years old. And that was awkward. And then a doctor arrived to give everybody a lesson in first aid, and people started working on their skill awards and their merit badges, and Maurice LeBrun took me off to a corner and made me memorize the Boy Scout oath, which I did. All in all, this was a very difficult evening for me. And when my dad picked me up, he said, "How'd it go?" And I said, "Not good. It was not pleasant." And he said, "No, you want to go back next week?" And I said, "No." And then next week I went back anyway. And I'm not exactly sure why I did it, but I went back the week after that. And I started earning skill awards, and I started working on merit badges, and I started making friends. I still got kicked around, you know, I still got some bumps and bruises, but next thing I knew, I was in Philmont. Anybody heard of Philmont?
Woo!
What is it?
Changed my life. First time I got on a plane, you know, I went out there, I'm riding horses, I'm climbing mountains, I'm in the Order of the Arrow. Anybody, you guys still got the Order of the Arrow? I can tie sheep shanks, I can tie square knots and half hitches and clove hitches, and next thing you know, I got my Eagle. And here's the thing. People ask me all the time, you know, what'd you learn? What was really the point? And the truth is, everything I needed to know to live my life, I learned in that first truth reading. Everything I needed to know about difficulty and challenge and being uncomfortable, guys, that's the deal. Scouting forces you to confront your discomfort. I don't care if it's the fear of climbing a mountain or the discomfort of sitting in the rain. It doesn't matter what, it trains you to do the thing you don't want to do. And over time I realized it does something else too. It trains you to like it. If you can figure out how to like the hard thing, how to enjoy the thing that everybody else goes out of their way to avoid, you're not only going to get 100 and some merit badges like that Roland guy, bit of a show off, yes. You're not only going to do that, you're going to do well in whatever you try. So, 25 years after I got my Eagle, I finally got a chance to get my name in the title of a TV show. And I wanted to do a TV show about those kinds of people. I wanted to find the people who deliberately go to do a hard thing and then find a way to like it. And that's what Dirty Jobs became. But look, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really know what I was getting into when I started. Anybody see the ostrich episode? Remember? You guys will love this. I wanted the first one to be kind of easy, and I looked around like ostrich wrangler. Okay, I gotta put the hood over the head of an ostrich with a couple of ostrich cowboys and take the ostriches off the market. What could be hard about that? The ostrich is kind of a sissy bird, you know, with those crazy wings. I mean, you know, how much trouble can you get in? Let me tell you something, an ostrich is a dinosaur.